I wanted to do this morning is kind of just show you what we did. You know, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're doing this morning. And just kind of give you some perspective. I think the first thing I need to say before we start, I'm not talking about any of you. I'm talking about me. Just my perspective, so don't get offended by anything I got to say here this morning. I'm just telling you what I saw in my perspective and, what observations that I made, going, obviously being over there again. I think each time you go over there, you just kind of look at things a little differently than maybe the first time you went or the second time you went. And you just start to pay attention to different things because you really want to try to take it all in. And there's a lot to take in. There really is. So this time, just noticed a bunch of stuff that I didn't notice the last time I was there. And really kind of honed in on a bunch of that. All I can say, guys, is, man, go. You need to go. No disrespect to anybody, but stop making excuses. You need to go because you're never going to see it, and you're never going to really understand what maybe what I've got to say, what my son's got to say. But I'm just going to tell you, we had 42 people there. 30 of them, I think, somewhere around that, went there for the first time, and we had, I think we had 12 pastors. Senior pastors that are pastoring churches. And every night we would do a team time where we would just kind of discuss what we did that day, things like that. And no questions asked across the board. All the newcomers, all the pastors, and of course myself included, the number one thing that consistently was said over and over and over again was, we just don't get it. Here in America, we just don't get it. And I can only tell you about it. Until you actually see it, I don't know that you'll get it. Because you got to experience it. You just do. So we're talking about Malawi, obviously. We were there for 13 days. Just to give you a little, just so you know where Malawi is. There's Africa. That little red area there is Malawi. To get from one end of the country, from the top north to the bottom south, probably takes about maybe 9 hours. So it's not a very large country, especially compared to the rest of Africa. But right there to the left of the, does this thing got a pointer? I feel like it did. Red dash? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's doing that? Is that you? Okay. So to the, I knew I wasn't doing it. So to the left, right, yeah, go to the right, Peyton, to the right. Right there. Oh, you just went too far. So right about, up a little bit. Oh, gosh. Come on, up a little bit. Right about there. So right about there is the refugee camp. So this time, what we didn't do last time, because we weren't involved with the refugee camp, is 3 of us, myself, Billy Wood, and Jeff Nichols, he's a pastor in Ohio, along with Saul and Palera, we went to the refugee camp, and we got to look at, go inside the refugee camp, all those things. I'll show you some pictures there, but literally 7 countries were represented in that refugee camp. So while we were there, just think about it. When we were preaching to 7 different countries, not including our country and United States, obviously, and then Malawi itself. So really, there was 9 countries being represented in that while we were preaching there. So I don't know what kind of blessings and what kind of treasures you get from something like that, but I'm looking forward to seeing that because that is just, it really was unbelievable experience. Just to the left of that is Congo, the Democratic of Congo. Major civil war, very, very dangerous place. That's where a lot of the refugees are coming from. But they're actually coming from all over, Somalia and some other countries there. But if you were to go to the left there a little bit, that whole, right next to Malawi, that whole little section there is right here. This is all the Congo. The pastor of the church, he was from right about there, and him and his family walked all the way over to get to the safety of Malawi. And they've been there now 13 years in this refugee camp, and that's going to be where they live the rest of their lives. That's it. That's probably what they're going to do. But I'll show you pictures and stuff like that as we go. So, again, this is another close-up of the area that we were. So if you see the top left corner there, you see the long way. Peyton, can you do something to show them? Anything? What are you doing? The what? Okay, so up top there, that's the long way. And then down here, yeah, there's the long way. Down here is Blantyre. So pretty much everything we do with our ministry is between those lines. All this area here. Zamba right here, this is where Mulunguzi is. Mulunguzi is where we was our first church plant. So when I went there a couple of years ago, we had 3 church plants, Mulunguzi and 2 other churches. Since then, they've planted 6 more. So we have 9 churches over there right now. And, Mulanji is one of them. Namandazi is one of them. Machinga is one of them. And so a bunch of different areas that we have. So what is amazing about that is for, whatever it's worth, not that you put names on anything, but every one of those are a One Baptist church. So those are 9 One Baptist churches in Malawi, Africa, that we all have had a part of. If you've given to the ministry of Malawi, that's where your money's going, is to those churches. I think what's amazing about it is, and one of the things that we talked about while we were over there, that again I think is Billy's been on a lot of mission trips all over the world. There's a lot of pastors there that have been on a lot of mission trips. Every single one of them made the statement that none of them's like this place. None of them's doing what we're doing there. And if you want to have a return on your investment, okay, for whatever that's worth, not that I think we need that, but if you want to know that you have a return on your investment, man, I'm telling you, this is a very, very good field to get yourself involved in and be a part of, because man, they are doing incredible things over there. It's just amazing, to the point that the government's taken notice, and the government's starting to get involved in helping the PCP, it's the Passion Centers for Pastors, and then the Passion PCC, which is the Passion Center for Children. The government is recognizing how much good that we're doing in those communities, and they're starting to help us in a lot of those areas. So just unbelievable, really is. So here, what we got here? There we go. So here's, as we're getting ready to roll, this is still Atlanta. So we were headed, what we did is a little team meeting here, kind of getting ready. There's Peyton as he gets ready for his first plane ride. He doesn't remember his first plane ride, so this was his first remembering of a plane ride. And his first time he got the plane ride, I told him, you've probably been in the plane more than 90% of Americans probably in the last going there and back. So he got his fill of being in a plane. Would you like to go on a plane ride today, Peyton? Absolutely not. It was rough, man. But, it is what it is. It's part of it. This is when we got to Ethiopia. Addis Ababa is the name of the airport. We were getting, this is when we finally got off the plane, and we were all happy. Everyone's smiling, as you can see. Here's when we actually got to Malawi. So basically what we did is, me and Peyton, we flew out of Jacksonville Sunday after church. We went to Atlanta. We were there that night. And then Monday morning, we got on from Atlanta, and then we flew to Ethiopia. And then from Ethiopia, we flew down to the Congo. And from the Congo, we flew over to Lilongwe. And then from Lilongwe, we flew to Malawi, or to Blantyre, which is closer to the area of Mulunguzi. I don't know, I think it was something like 29 hours, something like that. So yeah, good times. So we get there, and then I just want to kind of show you some of the pictures of Africa. It's breathtaking, honestly it is. Pictures don't do it justice. It just doesn't. It's just a very beautiful country when you just are looking at the scenery. It's a third world country, so when you start to look at the way they live and stuff, it's run down, obviously. But the scenery of Africa it's a beautiful country. There's a lot to see. This is Lake Malawi. I did not see it the last time I was there. It's the most unbelievable thing you ever saw, because you're out in this third world country. Everything's run down. Everything just looks awful, and living. Then you go to Lake Malawi, and they got this little resort sitting there, and you're like, where did this come from? And it's like a beautiful resort. Like, seriously, like I would take my wife there for a honeymoon or something if we were to get married again. I don't know. It really is very, very nice. But that's Lake Malawi. I think they said they have over 900 different species of fish in there. Just really, really beautiful view. Again, I can't do it justice by what I'm showing you here, but this is another part of Lake Malawi there. Again, just absolutely beautiful scenery as you're driving through. This was the team. So you can see we had 42 people there. It was just really awesome. Some of them obviously I didn't know. I knew most of them. One guy I do want to point out real quick, because I don't know that I got a picture of him. This gentleman right there, that's Eric. That's Eric right there. Okay, so Eric is the one that met Polera back in 2002, and now this all got started. So he's the president of the PCC. Then right down here, this is David Goodson. He's the pastor of our One Baptist Church in North Carolina. Right on top of him there, up, is his wife. And then you got over here, somewhere is Billy. Yeah, you can see Billy there. Can you get it over there, Peyton? A little bit more to the right. Right there, there's Billy. Right down to the right is Shannon. There's Shannon. So again, that's the pastor over at Douglasville. You all met him when he was here. This was the first time that we had all three senior pastors from all three One Baptists there. And then we had the senior pastor of Mulunguzi, so we had all four of us there, which was really cool. And we just had a really great team here. I do want to make mention of Alan. You'll know why I'm making mention of Alan in a moment. I just want everybody to see his picture there and get a feel for what he looks like. The Kimbros, you all know the Kimbros. They're from Douglasville. These are all people that eventually you'll meet. They come through here at some point. And so this kid right here, Sarah would recognize him. So he was from First Bible Baptist Church, which is where me and Sarah came out of. We taught him when he was a kid, when he was like that big. So, obviously to see him now, you're like, whoa, dude, you grew. He's like 21, right? So that's just makes you feel old. This lady right here, that's Jody. Jody's awesome, man. She really is. She goes over there probably 4 times a year, and every time she goes over, she's there for about a month. So she's just kind of she does a lot of everything when she's over there, but just a really fantastic example, really, honestly. So anyways, So this is the main house where we did all of our team meetings and stuff like that. So we would get around, we'd gather here and we would talk about the day, things like that. Off to the right there, you can see everybody over here. They're all getting something to eat. That's where all the food was, up on the table there. This is Steve. Steve's the man. He's the one that him and, I can't remember her name. Beatrice. Who said that? Yes, Beatrice. They made all the food. It's crazy how much. It's always nice to see the truck rolled up and you see the chickens and they come off there and you're like, well, those babies are getting killed pretty soon. And sure enough, that night they were on the table. But Steve was, he's our cook. This is the main house where they, you guys didn't see all this, right? Cheyenne, you guys didn't see this, right? Because you guys were up on the mountain.
We were on the
Yeah. So that's gone now.
It was the last year.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Now this is our compound now. But this is where you stay, bunk beds and things like that. You can see here, this was Peyton's top bunk bed. And they put the nets over there because you don't want to get mosquitoes at night, because if they bite you, then you get malaria, and that's not good. So they give you these little nets. Here's the bottom bunk bed where I slept. So one night, I'm sleeping. It's about 1:30 in the morning. All of a sudden, I hear this big crash, and Peyton's on the floor. I thought bro fell off the bed. That's what I thought happened.
I thought I fell off the bed too, because he asked me and
he
I
passed
was
out.
second-guessing myself.
He passed out. So he's sitting there. It's dark. We can't see anything. And he's sitting there and he's going, I'm like, Peyton, turn the light on. He turns the light on, and I'm serious. I thought it was Friday the 13th. There was blood everywhere. Blood. He cracked his nose on something, and he was. I was like, what is going on right now? I mean, blood's everywhere. He's got it smeared all over his face. It's on the light. I'm like, this is 1:30 in the morning, right? So, anyways, he was okay. He didn't fall off the bed. He just got down, and so that day you did the 5K, right?
Yeah, I did that in the morning.
Yeah, so he probably was dehydrated was the problem. Yeah, so good times. So this is where we, is this a video? Yeah. So this is where we did our team meeting when we first got together. That's Mulanguzi Church, where we are, and then this is the team and their team. And we just all got together and we discussed what we were going to do, and we introduced ourselves and things like that. So that's what that was all about. This is Omega. Omega's Polara's wife. Omega's the one that made all of our shirts here. I had her make one for Savannah, which didn't fit, so she had to cut it. Sarah, so that's why Sarah is dressed so eloquently today in African gear. And then me and Peyton got the same ones. But she's awesome, man. She really is. She's all over the place and always doing something. It's amazing to see. This is Saul over here to the right. This guy here, he's I keep wanting to say Maximilian, but it's not.
Million,
right? Yeah. So he's the pastor of Jolly. Jolly was the second church that we planted. You guys are probably familiar with Jolly because we've had the opportunity to do a lot of stuff in Jolly. We put a fish pond over there, and then we built the what do you call it? Champs. Thank you. Who said that? Yeah, the Champs building. So the Champs building is what, so each church has a Champs building, or going to eventually. And what the Champs building is for is so like, if there's kids with disabilities or anything like that, we take them in and then we take care of them, because over there, a lot of times the parents will abandon a child because they think that the devil did something to them. And so a lot of times if they got some kind of disability or something like that, either the parents will, and I'm just trying to tell you what they do, either they'll kill them or they'll just abandon them. So what we do is we assess that and we take the kids in so that so they have a chance. I'm sorry, I tried to get as many pictures on as I could, but so 2 years ago when I went over there, they had just built the Champs building, and I was there to dedicate it. So it hadn't even opened yet. And so we were there, and we did a big ceremony. They love doing ceremonies over there whenever they're going to do something. So they dedicate everything. But they had the town chiefs there and all kinds of stuff, and it was really cool. But I say all that to say, if y'all remember, I should have put the picture up there, I'm sorry, but there was a little girl named Priscilla. Priscilla was the first one that day she was put into the champs at Jolly, and she was crippled. She couldn't walk, and really, obviously, in a normal situation, if we didn't step in, she probably never would have walked the rest of her life. So we're driving up to Jolly on the second day there, and we're getting ready to go to a VBS. And we're driving, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I see this little girl running. And I was like, I looked at Jody and I said, Jody, that's Priscilla, isn't it? And she goes, yeah, absolutely is. She's running the whole nine, man. It was just the most unbelievable. I mean, honestly, I'm not a crier. I'm sorry, I'm not. But I teared up at that. Just seeing that little girl running was just awesome. And just smiling and happy and having fun. She got involved in we were throwing footballs to the boys, and she's running, doing routes and stuff. It was just the most amazing. I was floored. It really was amazing. But Million, he's a cool guy. He doesn't know anything you're saying, but he pretends like he does. It's hilarious. Like, you'll say something to him, and the guy's always got a smile on his face, and it's like a big smile. And Billy would say something to him, or I would say something to him or something, and he would just be like, yes, sir, yes, sir. And we're like, you don't have a clue what we just said, do you? But really great guy. He's very involved in all that, obviously. This is Naomi. That's Saul's wife and their child. And then, of course, we got Polera. So Polera and Saul are coming in October. So I'm really excited about that. You guys will actually have the opportunity. If you haven't met those guys, you'll actually have an opportunity to meet them. And then the guy on the left there, I don't know who he is. He's some dork. Whatever. Okay, so here's Alan. So, yeah, Alan was sleeping a lot. He did a lot of work, though. There's a reason why he was sleeping. Yeah, every time we caught Alan, he was catching some Z's. So here's Alan catching some Z's. So here is when they went. I didn't have the opportunity to go on the safari this time because we were at the refugee camp. But Peyton got to go, and in a second here, you're going to see. I don't know if you can see him. That's a crocodile right there. That's a 21-footer. That guy will eat you whole. Not even joking, he could take you down whole. So that was a pretty big croc. There's a hippo. I mean, obviously, you said you saw a cheetah, right? I didn't get to see a cheetah. That was cool. That would have been cool. And what else did you see?
We saw a lot of. They weren't deer, but they were like. They were called something else.
Giselle?
No. Huh? I don't remember what they were called, but they were something.
Isn't that what they're called?
They were like really
Giselle?
buff deer.
Giselle? Oh,
very
okay.
buff deer.
Anyways, so when you get to the Mulunguzi Church, to walk over to the ECD, which is where they take, it's the what is it? What's that stand for? Do you know? It's where they house all the kids. So you have to kind of walk over there, but this is the bridge you got to walk over to get there. And so as you can see, it's very well made. And so yeah, it's fun trying to get over that bridge to get there. But then here's the ECD Center. Again, when you go in there, it has all the kids. These kids all come from the town around Mulunguzi. Again, most of them never would have gotten an education if it wasn't for what we were doing. So they get to enroll into the ECD, the PCC, the Passion Center for Children, and they teach the kids. You know, they get not only do they get an education, they get a very good education for Malawi standards. This is another building where they have a lot of the team meetings or where they do things with the kids. Here's a bunch of them right there. We got to see them, I think. So just awesome stuff, man. Again, we teach them the language of English. So again, all things that they never would have gotten. This picture kind of got me because if you see in the back here, those bricks, that's what they're doing. They're making bricks. And that's what they do all day long. They just sit there and they put all the ingredients in the thing and they make bricks. So what we were doing while we were here and while we saw this is because we had a young lady there. She's been in the PCC for like 12 years. I'm sure you guys would have known. I forget her name. I'm sorry. But last year, there was a cyclone that came through and tore down their house. Most of the houses that are over there are built with straw and things like that. So if you get, a good wind come through, your house is coming down. So what we do is we get the worst of the worst when we can, and we build them a house, and we give it to them for free, right? For them, that's a huge, huge deal. So that's what we were doing here. We're dedicating. Do you recognize her? She would have been younger when you went, but. So the house behind her right there, that's the house we dedicated to her. And so she's just, saying thank you and things like that. Again, whenever they do a dedication, it's a big, huge deal. You don't see behind her, where I took the video, there's town chiefs that come. There's the builders there. We had the village all comes and celebrates, and they dance with them, and it's just crazy what they do. It's just really cool. But I wanted to show you this house real quick. So here's a bunch of us just celebrating with her when they cut the little ribbon so she could, get the house. Troy, dude's funny, man. I got to tell you a story about him in a second. He's hilarious. He's a pastor as well in Georgia, but he was the comedian of the trip for sure, right? He was very funny. So this is the inside of their house that they just built. Now I want to show you this because this is, for them, high standards. This is a good house. But they won't ever get furniture. All they'll ever do is get plastic chairs at best. When they go to sleep at night, that's what they lay on. So if they don't have this and they're in a straw house, that's a dirt floor. So at least she's got a concrete floor. This is her family, so there's 5 of them plus her, so all of them are going to live in that house. It had 3 rooms, not very big rooms, obviously. So to go to the bathroom, I just wanted to show you, you got to go outside the house and go around back, right? That's the lock to the bathroom door because they didn't have any locks. So that's what they did. They put a little stick in there so that it wouldn't open. That's where they go to the bathroom. So there's their toilet. I say all this to say, y'all, we're pathetic. We have so much that we have, and we are just so unappreciative. We really are. It's an amazing thing, man. So next to it, I didn't take the picture of it, but they have where they don't have the little hole there, and that's where they go to take a shower. So their shower is they have to go to the well, get some water in a bucket, come over, wash themselves, and pour the bucket over their head. That's their shower. That's how they clean themselves. Or if they got a river or something like that, they can clean themselves in. But this is considered good, real good living for them over there. So this is, we're getting ready to build another church. This will be our 10th one over there. So this is in Lilongwe. Now the thing you need to know about Lilongwe is it's getting very much Muslim, a lot of Muslim presence there now. So we're building obviously a church over there. So that's we got to see as they're laying the groundwork there. You can see in the ground there. That's where all the concrete's being laid so they can build the pillars on it. Oh yeah, okay, I got the video. Oh, sorry, this turned. But you can kind of see. So we got to see them put the concrete in there. It was windy. That's Abusa. E, right? gosh, I'm so bad at names. I'm so bad at it. What's this right here? Oh, this is a video that I took going in. Just, beautiful scenery, no doubt, as you enjoy it. So this is the well that we just built for them. So this is how they get running water. So you can see, you got to come over there, and that's how you get your water. Because other than that, they have to drink either rainwater, which is what they do at the refugee camp. Whenever it rains, they will collect the water and they'll use that to bathe or to drink. They actually even drink it. So when they get a well, obviously that's a big deal because now they get actual good water, if you will. So we just built that for them. What's this? Oh, this was you, right? Was this the widows? So we had the ability. Go ahead, you can talk about it.
So basically, well, no, keep playing the video. Keep playing the video. This is just a really special moment that I think you just need to take in before I say anything.
So I want you to notice she has no shoes. So she couldn't walk. Go ahead.
So basically, the story here is obviously, as you can tell, she couldn't really walk well. Her legs were very weak. So her story is actually kind of interesting. She used to live in Mulunguzi, which is where the main church is, but she moved out to, I forget where we were, but she moved out there, and she's actually the reason that church got planted there, because she kept saying, I want a church over here. So she's actually the reason that church got put there, and I just think that's amazing. And I mean, she couldn't walk at all. Like when we got there, like she crawled her way there. That's how she got there. She crawled her way back and forth between place to place because she couldn't walk, but she was dedicated enough to get there and do that. You hear a lot of stuff about, like, when we talk about this stuff, like people walking or biking for hours. She crawled there. She crawled there because she couldn't walk. And that just made me think, here in America and just in general, we take our legs for granted.
Yeah.
But then if we don't have the ability to use our legs, something like a walker is an expectation, and then we take that for granted. But over there, it's not the expectation if you can't walk that you're getting a walker or anything to help you. It is what it is. They don't have that over there, just everywhere, easily accessible like we do. So something like that seems like insignificant to us. I mean, she teared up over that. Like,
sure,
it's a walker, but to her, that's like everything. That's her ability to walk now. And I just thought it was such a beautiful moment to witness.
So the church I preached at last Sunday, what was the name of that church? Namikango. It's one of our church plants. And I was talking to the pastor. There was a gentleman there 83 years old, has a knee problem. He walks 11 miles every Wednesday and every Sunday to come to church. 83 years old, walks 11 miles to come to church. And I was talking to the pastor. He spoke some broken English, but we were talking, and I was talking to him about the guy because I got to talk to him a little bit. And he told me, he's like, he never misses church. He's there every Wednesday, every Sunday. He's like, he could come, he could not be feeling well, and he's still at church. And again, y'all know what I'm going to say now, right? The excuses we come up with. The excuses we come up with, and here's an 83-year-old guy who can barely eat. Like, I was watching him. Like, it's not like he walks fast. This is what he was doing. 11 miles to church and 11 miles home, twice a week. Doesn't complain, comes. Then they start to worship and sing songs and stuff. He's up there singing and clapping his hands and getting into it, man. He's got a piece of paper in front of him when while I was preaching, he was right out. He wasn't falling asleep. He's writing notes. The other thing I noticed, and this is something I really wanted to pay attention to this time. Again, you all do what you got to do. I ain't getting mad at nobody. I'm just telling you what I observed. I preached from when we were at the refugee camp, and then on that Sunday, we start service around 9, right? And then we ended around 12:30. 3.5 hours. That's how long their services are. Nobody got up to go to the bathroom. Nobody did anything. They just were dialed in. They were listening to the sermon. They were all taking notes. No one's sleeping. Y'all, puts us to shame. Amen. Puts us to shame, man. While we were at one of our team meetings, I said this, and I will stand by this statement that I'm about to make right now all day long. We go over there to teach them the Word, and we think we're bringing them something, but I'm telling you right now, they teach us how to do church because we don't know how to do church here in America. We don't get it. And here's the thing that scares me about that is because if the Lord's looking down and he's seeing the way they do church and then he's seeing the way we do church, I don't want to be behind them at the judgment seat. I knew I was going to step on I just don't want to because we come up with excuses for everything of why we can't do something or why we can't get it. 83-year-old guy who can barely walk. Boom. What's our excuse now? Come on, man. What's our excuse? Seriously. We got none. 83 years old. And no disrespect to you guys sitting in those chairs and stuff like that. They don't have nice little comfortable chairs. They're sitting in plastic chairs. 83 years old. 7-8 hours. Not complaining, not doing nothing. It's amazing to me. The problem is, me and Chris were talking about this on the way over. The problem is, our stuff has us. Amen. Our luxuries have us. Right. When you don't have anything, then you can really give it all to Jesus. Amen. They know how to surrender it all to Jesus. Right. We don't. We can sing it all day long, and listen, I'm not talking to none of you. I'm talking to me. Y'all take whatever you want out of it. I'm just telling you, man. You watch them when they're singing praises, man. They are singing praises. There's not one person sitting. They're all singing. They're all dancing and doing their thing. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It really is. They want to be fed. They want it, and it really does. It makes you think, right? That whole idea of the last shall be first and the first shall be last. I wonder where we are in that. I really do. And I do think heaven's keeping score. I honestly do, especially after seeing stuff like that. There really is a problem, I think, when our blessings keep us from being a Christian. Take what I just said in. Really think about what I just said. Our blessings keep us from being a Christian. And I think that's very sad. So that's where I was preaching at the church there at Namakongo that Sunday morning. So that's kind of how we do it. Obviously, you see how you got to say something and then translate. So you figure me and Billy, we already preach for as long as we do. Just imagine over there, because now it's double the time, because you say what you got to say, then the translator's got to say what you just said before you can keep going. And actually, it actually works out, because it gives you a second to think about the next thing you want to say. So it probably goes longer. So here is all of us. So everybody you see in that picture right there are all pastors. This is where we preached at last Saturday when we did a leadership conference, and we were at Jolly, and we were preaching this leadership conference. 6 of us preached. This gentleman right here. This is Jeff Nichols. He preached. And then the last 3 on the end there. It's that guy in that pink shirt. Kind of a weird guy. But all of us got to preach. So who we preached to was the first graduating class of the PCP. So PCP being the Passion Center for Pastors. So we teach them and we train them in the Word of God. And then, so they go through like a 3-year training, and then they get a degree when they're done, and then they go back into their villages, and they take what we taught them, and they go teach it to their villages. So, but then we're not done with them. We don't just say, okay, you're done, see you later, have a good life. We'll hold 3 conferences every year to have them all come back. This is one of the more amazing things about all that. These people are pastoring other churches around the area. Some of these people are coming from 20, 25 miles away, riding their bikes to get there. And when we do these conferences, it's not church 9 to 12:30. This is 9 to 5. Okay? Now, we were there in the winter this time, so it was actually kind of chilly. But when I was there a couple of years ago, it was summer, and it was hot. You think it's hot out here. Imagine the heat that we're getting having no AC in this building. Y'all remember when we were working in this building? You remember how hot it was? It's hotter than that. And you're in it for 9 hours. These people ain't complaining. These people don't care. They're loving it, man. They just want the Word of God. Yeah, man, what it does is, honestly, truthfully, if I can say it this way, you never feel more smaller than when you go to Malawi. You just don't. You just don't. They have no electricity. They have no running water. They don't have toilets. They don't have those things. Just the basic things that we have. They don't have fresh water. Like, you can't drink the water over there. Like, if you don't have a bottle of water, don't drink it, or you're going to get sick. It's just amazing. Can I say this? I don't feel sorry for them. You would think going over there you would feel sorry for them. What you learn real fast is I feel sorry for us. Amen. That's what I feel sorry for. I don't feel sorry for them. They got nothing at all, but they've got joy like you've never seen. We got everything, and we got no joy. They don't complain. They don't talk about their they hold their pastors to such a high level. Not that I need you all to do that. I'm just telling you. They don't talk about their pastors behind his back. They don't do none of that. Their pastors they understand how much their pastors are investing in them. And they're very appreciative of it. And they know what church is. And we don't. And it's just it's a crazy thing. It really is. It really is. Okay. Anyways, so that conference was pretty cool. So here's a couple more pictures of the conference there. Yeah, that's me in the background preaching there. Yeah, there we go. I love this guy. This guy right here, I remember him from a couple years ago. He is so attentive. Like, he's like the whole time just listening to every word you got to say. But you can see them all. I was the 3rd preacher, so we're about 3 hours in right now. I mean, they're all into it, man. They're all listening. They're all, they ain't worried. I get it. We've got somewhere to go after this. They don't. I get that. I understand that, and that's where you have to kind of go, okay, you can't be upset about it. Like, you You can't get upset at the way we live when we have been given blessings. What you get upset about is the fact that we take for granted what we have. And because we do have somewhere to go, the Word of God's not good. The Word of God's not like, hey, come on, man. We got to go. We got to get home to eat. Well, they don't even go home to eat. Unless we feed them, a lot of those people don't even get to eat. And stuff like that just makes you. So while we're all working hard, this is the picture I get from my wife and my daughter. There we go. Yep. So while we're working hard, this is what they're doing back home. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so this is really cool. So when you all went, you probably remember this. This is the orphanage. So to the left, that was the orphanage. Okay, right? So while we were there, we had a team that went in to remodel the orphanage. To the right, you can see what it looks like now. Again, just we're doing everything we can to help them. And it's just, like I said, I don't know what you give your money to. That's not a bad place to give your money to because there's actual tangible things that are going on. These kids are all orphans. Their parents obviously are gone, and we take them in. A lot of times what happens over there, especially if the older child, like we heard a story while we were there. There was a family that had 6 kids. The oldest was 7 years old. The parents died. The 7-year-old was taking care of all of the kids in a little hut, dirt floor. 7-year-old's taking care of all the kids. Crazy. Just really crazy stuff, man. You just don't realize. There's Alan again. So, yeah. We made sure we knew Alan was working hard. He really did. Honestly, he did. We honestly thought that David Kimbrough was going to die from a heart attack at least 3 times. He was jump roping with the kids, and he's like, if y'all know David Kimbrough, like he's like beet red. It's like, dude, you all right, man? Can you breathe? But yeah, there we go. So this is the VBS we were at. That doesn't even do it justice, right, Peyton? What did we have? 930-something kids? Yeah, something like that. It was like crazy how many kids were there. And I'm telling you, man, the kids love it. They get involved. So this is their soccer ball. That's how they... So we brought over a bunch of soccer balls for them, obviously, and gave it to them. But, this is what they do. There's their shoes, if they even have any. So this is the widow's ministry. So we were talking about the widow that a little while ago there. This was really special. Honestly, it was. And it got me thinking, why don't we do something for widows? Like, why don't we? We really need to. And so... that's something that, as I was thinking about it coming home, I'm like, we need to get involved in that stuff. We have widows in our own church that we don't even do anything for. Like, we need to get involved in all that. We seriously do. But it was such a blessing. In the back there, you can see they were all seated on the back, and then how we have all chairs. And like you think, like we all said it, we're like, we don't deserve to sit in these chairs. They actually will take offense to it. They want to thank you. They will make you as comfortable as they can. And if you don't accept it, they get a little like, hey, let us love on you because you're loving on us. But this is one of the widows thanking us for what we did because we had, so this lady here, did you pray with her too? Yeah, so we got to pray with her. So all of us went out and we all got with a widow and we all prayed with her and, talked to her and stuff like that. She was a very, very sweet lady. I don't know that she understood a word we were saying, but she still smiled. So I got a picture with her as well. What were you doing here? Oh, you're giving back. So what we did is, so these bags here, we gave them all food. We got there, we prayed with them. We had three of our ladies got up and gave them messages, and then we gave them all food. Just a really special time. There's Peyton getting his these little kids, man, they love taking pictures with you. They love it. Like, what was a fantastic idea is one of the ladies, she brought over a camera that you take the picture and the picture comes out and gave it to the kids. Oh my gosh, that was like the best thing to them. Everybody wanted one. It was like, oh, and candy, they freak out with candy. If you break out candy, you may as well just have given up your day because they're all around you. Like you can't even move. Sweets, sweets, sweets. They know how to say sweets. And boy, they like their candy. And then what they'll do is you'll give them one, and then they'll put it in their pocket, and they'll run around and pretend like they didn't get one. So you got to watch them. They're sneaky little buggers. They really are. And I was watching one. I didn't say nothing because she was the cutest little girl, and I was not going to mess with it. But I was watching. Billy gave her 4 pieces of candy, and I don't think he realized he did. And I'm like, I don't care. Let her have it, man. That's cool. But she was just adorable. But anyways, so there's Carol Kimbrough. She had the opportunity to give a testimony. Really fantastic. Honestly, it was. She was so nervous too going in. But she did a fantastic job. So this is the church that we just built. This is our 9th church. So you can obviously see a nice windy day probably would blow that thing down. So we haven't had the opportunity to actually build walls yet and things of that matter. So that's what they meet in right now. Mm-hmm. And we complain. Yeah. So that's. Where is that? Do you know where that is? I know it. Gosh, I'm so bad with names. Okay, so this young lady right here. So me and my wife. So through the website. So if you were to go on to Passion Center. If you just type Passion Center in, you'll find it. It's easy enough. You can go out. You can go in there. And it's like anything, right? It's like World Vision and all that stuff. You can take care of kids, sponsor a child, right? We have been doing that for a long time with World Vision and stuff like that. But once obviously we got a hold of this Malawi stuff, we started sponsoring children over in Malawi. And one of the things that I love about it is, you go over there, you actually get to meet them. And so this was one of the little girls.
I knew you were going to ask me.
It's Kevin and
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Keisha.
No.
It's something like
I've
that.
got Alexa stuck in my head.
No. Anyways, so it was hilarious. And when I say hilarious, I was like, what the heck? So they introduced us to her. I don't think she quite got who we were yet. And then she figured it out. And once she figured it out, she came up to me and gave me the biggest hug. And she just would not let me go. It was so awesome. But I got to FaceTime Sarah in so that she could talk to her too. Huh? It's Aisha.
Aisha.
I know. That's what I said. Didn't I just say that?
You said Keisha.
Keisha, Aisha, that's all the same. So anyways, and then the very next day we went back. This is at Jolly. The very next day we went back, so I get out the car, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden, from the corner of my eye, I see her from across the field running towards me just to give me a big hug. You can't, I don't care what you say, man, you can't beat that. So this is the other gentleman that we sponsor. His name's Kevin. So we had the opportunity to meet him as well. Very, very sweet boy. So he's at Mulanguzi. He was in some pretty tough stuff till the Passion Center got him. I think his parents are both gone. Just very, very sweet kid. Getting an education, obviously, and then obviously with the help of our sponsorship, he's doing really well. So just very cool that you get to meet him, man, and be able to talk with him. You don't do it for that, but it's kind of a nice perk. It really is. Okay, so this is what we just did recently is we did built this house, and we did a dedication for this house. But these are all children who are orphans, and something happened. Generally, I think we have 5 of them right now. I think, if I remember correctly, all 5 of them, the mom died in childbirth, and the dad was already gone. So these are all orphans, just very, obviously you can tell, very young kids. And what we do is we take them in, and now we give them mothers, if you will, matrons, I think is what they call them, right, Peyton? Matrons, isn't that what they call them? Yeah. And so this is a house we just built for them, and then we dedicated it on this day, 5 kids, and there's Shannon there, you can see. And then they're going to take in some more. Again, just incredible things we're doing over there. It just really is awesome to see. Troy. So now here's a funny story about this picture. The before picture had Troy in a nice shirt and a nice hat. He bartered his nice shirt and his nice hat for a Noah's Ark. We were laughing at him because we got the Noah's Ark for like 30,000 kwacha, which over there is like $4. He gave the guy this nice shirt and this nice hat for the Noah's Ark. So everybody was laughing at him.
The guy wanted his pants too, but he was like, I'm not giving you that.
He did want his pants. That is true. Troy, he was hilarious. This guy was he honestly was funny. We saw him coming back, and I said, where's your shirt, bro? He's like, man, he's the southern guy, right? Like, he's down home, Georgia boy, right? Man, they took my shirt and my hat, man. It was just hilarious. I'm like, they wanted my pants too, but I said, no, I can't walk around in my underwear. It's just hilarious, man. But they barter and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. This is at the top of the mountain there, where you guys went to that restaurant. You know what I'm talking about? So on Sunday after church, we go to the top of this mountain here, and there's a nice restaurant in there. You actually get a fairly decent meal. But here's, there's a baboon. They're all over the place, especially up on the top of that mountain. There's Peyton eating rice and chicken. Surprise, surprise. How much rice and chicken did you eat?
Way too much.
Yeah, that's about it. Rice and chicken every day. But so when we were up there, it was foggy, so you couldn't see. This is from when I went a couple years ago, but this is what you miss, Peyton, because this is the view you do get from up there. And it is just absolutely unbelievable. Where I am at right now is standing on the balcony taking a picture. Just absolutely gorgeous. But it's a cool little restaurant. You can hang out up there, and we get a good dinner. Oh, here's the Champions Club that our church had. We built this church from here. Well, not from here. We gave the money to build it, obviously. And then the other thing we also did is do a fish pond, so that they put the fish in there, obviously, and then they got food. This young lady, I don't remember her name, but I do want to give you the story real quick. So Billy's mom sponsored this young lady. And she would write her letters. She would, Billy's mom loved this little girl. Obviously, you can tell she's in a wheelchair. And so Toma, Billy's mom, just absolutely loved this little girl. Well, Toma passed away February, somewhere around there. And so Carol Kimbrough and Toma are really, really good friends. And so Carol wanted to pick up the sponsorship. So because, and so this was a sweet moment because Carol got to meet her. Everybody was in tears. It was just a crazy moment. But she didn't know that she was going to meet her. So that was a pretty cool little story. But yeah, that was fun. And there's our boy. We got him. Yep. Okay, we already saw that. Okay, this is this was at church, wasn't it? Yeah. So what they do is they'll start the service with the women. The women will always do a song or two, and then the whole church will get up and do, I don't know, 3 songs maybe, something like that. So this is the women doing their thing. One thing that I find very that we were laughing at this. If you know Billy's driving, you'll understand why that's funny. He's not a good driver. but somehow he has a driving school in Malawi. It would be at Malawi he would have a driving school. They all drive like nuts anyway, so it would make sense. That's why we took that picture. We were all laughing. But what's really cool, like, okay, so I think we noticed this a little bit more over at the Hedges campus because you don't have as much of an open space. But whenever you don't have, we get it here too, but when you don't have instruments and everyone's singing, you can kind of hear it echo. You know what I'm talking about? Right? That's cool. I like that. That's always like, man, that's one of the, because everything they have over there is a tin can. Because everything they have is, you got walls and they use tin for their roofs. So, man, when they sing, oh my, it's like the whole place is rocking. It's like, it's really cool. And you can watch videos all day long. You got to experience it. Yeah, right? You got to experience it because it's a whole nother ball game. Would you agree, Peyton? Yeah. Okay, so this is where when we went to the refugee camp. And this, man, this was so humbling. Honestly, it was. So here's I took some pictures of the camp itself from afar. I'll just go through these pictures just so you can see them. So we're in the town right now. Just the conditions are not very good, as you can see. This goat here, I think he's already dead, because that's what he sounded like. It was like the most horrible sound. Even Billy was like, that's a sick goat right there. This is all, so that's all fish right there. Now the reason why I show you that is because we walked through there that morning at like 9 o'clock, and all those fish were there. We come back around 3, and those fish were still sitting there. And I was like, I would not eat that. That don't look good. And it smelled like they've been sitting there that long. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So this is the center where we preached at right here. So again, we were preaching to the refugee camp. So here's, I want you to notice, the floor is all dirt. That's where we were. Most of these people didn't even have shoes. Let's see here. This guy right here, he can sing. I think did I get a video of him? I think right here. Like, as I'm listening to it, in my mind, I can remember it. I'm like, that doesn't do it any justice. It just doesn't. That guy right there, he can sing, and he was very attentive to the preaching. He loved it for sure. But just pictures of. But I want you to notice they're all sitting in plastic chairs. You guys all like your cushion chairs? Just saying. This is, we fed them there. There's Billy preaching to them. So what we do is, so we just started with this group, so we're going through the 10 keys of Bible study with them. So that's what we're doing. So Billy did a key on Tuesday, Jeff Nichols did a key on Wednesday, and then I did a key on Thursday. And like I said, Billy, 9 to 4:30. Nichols went from 9 till about 2, and then I went from 9 till about 2:30-ish. Didn't complain one time. They were there to learn, and that's what they did. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a privilege. It really is. Like, we don't deserve to do that. We really don't. It really is a privilege. And like I said, 9 countries were represented in that refugee camp while we were preaching to them. Just awesome. Okay, so this picture here, so you can't tell, but there's a wall there. You can see that wall, but right over here, just to the left, that's Billy. You can see the other wall. Okay, now the reason why I'm showing you this is because this is the pastor's house. That refugee camp, that's where they do church, and this is the pastor. His name was what was his name? I got it written down. Yeah, Jacob, and his wife was Esther, and they have 4 kids, and they have one on the way. So they've been living here for 12 years. All their kids have been born, and so this is the entrance into their house. And if you're trying to figure out what that is coming down there, you can just guess, because that's what it is. Part, obviously, in the dirt. And also, they're also cooking up there. So we were walking through there. Okay, so now this is going into, let's see if we got it. This is going into his house. And that's his house. That was the pastor. That's his house right there. So to the left and to the back are 2 bedrooms that when you pull those back, you go down to this it's like a cell is what it looks like. There's no lights in there, nothing. So at night it's just probably complete dirt ground, dirt floor, just a blanket. And that's what they sleep in every night. Honestly, that looks bigger than it does. Have you ever been to my house and you've seen our bathroom? Our bathroom, in my master bedroom, our bathroom's bigger than his house. Makes you go, how pathetic are we? We really are. So here's where we all are sitting with him. So that's his wife, Esther. That's him up there in the red shirt, Jacob. And then obviously you can see there's Billy, Jeff Nichols, Polaris, I'm taking the picture. So this kid, the funniest part about this kid was his shirt. I don't know if you can read that or not, but it says, "My parents didn't practice social distancing. I'm going to be a big brother." We were laughing at that. We were like, kidding me? So funny stuff there. But so this is this guy's house. This is their church where they meet. I took a video. Sorry about that. I turned it. So I asked him, "You hear that? What do you think that is?" They're bats. Okay? This is where they meet for church. And I asked him, I said, "Do you pull out the chairs?" He's like, "Oh, no, we don't have chairs. We sit on the ground." Gotcha. And so he said they pack it out on Sundays. So that's their church. Okay, so we had a really special moment while we were there. These two folks here, they got engaged before they came, and they actually got married there. So when was that? Thursday morning? Thursday morning, right? So David Goodson, he's their pastor, and so he got to marry him in Africa. So I thought that was pretty cool. We weren't there for that. We were at the refugee camp. You were there, right, Peyton? Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So, just to make sure we finish on a good note, there's Alan once again sleeping. So Peyton, do you want to show them? We'll just show them a couple of minutes, and we're almost done. It's 12:08. Show them your video real quick. Put that on. So Peyton had the privilege to preach. So every time before we did in the morning before we went out and the teams all went to go do their thing, we would have somebody, one of our men, young men usually, not always. Alan did one of them. He was not sleeping for that one when he did it. But we do a charge for everybody. Peyton got to do a charge for us. It was actually really good. We were about the halfway point. Can you pull it up or no? Go ahead.
He said he's working on it.
Oh, there you go.
or it has been overworking at this point, but I'm saying it's been a lot. We've been busy. We've been doing a lot. But we're still not done yet. We're still not done yet because we still have quite a bit left to go. And then all this team, like once we get the team time at night, I'm struggling. Like it is tiring. But we gotta persevere and we gotta remember what we're here for because there's still more to do while we are still here. And it's not time to get tired yet. Every day has been so incredibly significant and worth remembering. No matter what we've been doing, something has always happened that everyone has been able to speak on. And it's always been something that's like individually unique to them or a group of people they were with.
Okay, that's good.
And I just think
So,
something happened in this one.
so basically what he preached on was basically is, hey, we're halfway done, but we still got half more to go. Just really good charge, very good job. All right, so that's good, right? We got everything? Okay. So, at one of the team meetings, somebody said something that really struck me with what he said. And, at those team meetings, it's like, you got a bunch of pastors in there. So you're getting a lot of their perspective. And honestly, there was a lot of, to me, man, I was getting fed because just listening to other pastors and give perspectives on stuff. One of the guys said this, and it really struck me. He said it's hard to convince people that the God they can't see loves them when the church they can see doesn't like them. Oh, I was like, okay, that's good. I'm using that one, and it's true. It's so true. And it just got me thinking. It's like, one of the things that I really love about going over there is every single day is ministry. Here, we're lucky if we get around to it every couple of weeks, right? Every single day over there is ministry. Even when we're not there, they're doing ministry every single day. It just got me thinking, as I was thinking about that, is like, you remember Isaiah over there in chapter 6 when he gets he goes to the throne room of God. You know what I'm talking about? And he gets to see the throne room of God, and it was when God says that he wants somebody to go out into the hedges and into the highways and go preach, and who, kind of like, who shall I send? And y'all remember what Isaiah said? Lord, send me. It got me thinking about that. I'm like, I wish we had that attitude. I wish we had the attitude of, why should I have to tell you to go do it? We all should just be like, Lord, send me. Send me. We may not all be able to have the opportunity to go over to Malawi, Africa, but right out that door is a mission field. And we shouldn't have to be, it's sad to me in America that pastors have to almost provoke their people to do something. It's like, we're Christians. Why do we have to be provoked to do something? That's why the Lord left us here. It's not who am I. It's who I am. God is the great I am. He gives us the ability and the privilege to be a part of what he's doing. We shouldn't have to be provoked into doing those things. And again, please forgive me. I'm not trying to be hard on anybody or anything like that. I'm just trying to give you my perspective. I think it's sad in America how, you got to provoke people to go to church. You got to provoke people to get involved. You got, over there, when something needs to get done, it's not I'll pray about it. It's Lord, send me. That's what it is. Here, it's like pulling teeth sometimes, and it's just like, man, we just don't get it. We really don't. Like, they get what it is. So Claude last Sunday preached on how the church is a family. We don't get it. They get it. They totally get it, man. And all I can say to you, man, is listen, it is a very, very unique situation. It's a very, very unique mission field that the Lord has given us the blessing to be a part of. Obviously, I don't know all the different mission fields in the world. I haven't been to them. But I know that while we were there, like I said, we had a lot of pastors who have been to a lot of mission fields. Billy's been to a real lot of them. And I'm just telling you, all of them are saying, this is unique. This is different. This is something that we all need to get behind. And when everybody's saying it, you got to go, okay, something's different about this. And all I can say to y'all is, do yourself a favor and stop making excuses. Go. You got to go. Listen, it's One Baptist Church. That's where it's all under the umbrella of One Baptist Church. It's family. While you're there, that's one thing. Peyton, would you agree? Some of those people you don't even know, and they just love you from the moment they see you. They take care of you as Americans. All those conditions I showed you, you probably will never have to go poop in a hole. Although it may happen. If you go out into the boondocks, it may happen, but most of the time you got running water, you got showers, you got to combat other people with showers to make sure you get warm water. You could be in the shower and it could turn cold on you while you're there, but at least you got running water. They do the best they can to keep you comfortable. They have windows where, if I remember correctly, they shut the power off for 16 hours a day, and then you have power for 4 hours. We don't have that problem because we have generators, things like that. So they do the best they can to keep us comfortable while we're there. But it does make you go, do I even deserve to be comfortable right now when you see everything else that's going on, right? But you just will never be, I could never tell you what it's like and do it justice. All I can do is tell you, and you got to experience it. You just do. So I would highly encourage you, man, stop making excuses, just go. It will change your life. I promise you it will. You will see things differently. You just will, and it'll make you appreciate things a lot differently. Because, you might start complaining about something. I do it all the time, right? I do it all the time. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm complaining about right now. I need to shut up. Because I will remember, I'm like, what am I complaining about? Like, I'm lucky I even have this, let alone, so it's one of those things where as I was thinking, as we were flying home, I was thinking about it, I'm like, it's crazy that I had to travel 8,211 miles to get a little piece of heaven. But that's what you get when you go over there. You really see what it's supposed to be. And I can't relay that to you. You have to go see it. And if you've been there, I think Cheyenne and Amy, right, they could tell you it's a lot different since you guys were there, because we've done a whole lot of new stuff over there. So I would tell you guys, go back, man, because you'll be blown away by everything they've done since you've all been there. It's gotten so much bigger, and they're doing so much more. But Peyton, what do you want to add?
I think we can sit here, we can talk about it all day. You can see as many videos and pictures as there is to see. You can see all that, and you can try to wrap your mind around it. You can try to understand, like, and comprehend, just what it's like. But you can't really understand it until you've seen it yourself and experienced what it's actually like to be there and just take everything in, like, yourself. It's just crazy just how different it is over there and how spoiled we are just like seeing everything. They are really about God over there. They're always on their way to church, every Sunday. They're never missing. I mean, sometimes stuff happens, you gotta, but for the most part, they are dedicated. They are seriously on it. They are always there. They're never missing. I mean, I was talking earlier about the lady that before she got that walker, she was crawling to church. Like, she was that dedicated, and she was an old lady crawling to church, and she was that dedicated to make it over there every Sunday, every Wednesday, to hear the Word of God. And she did it. And just seeing the joy on their faces, they don't have any of the stuff we have. They have none of the comforts we have, but you see more joy over there than you ever see over here, especially when they're praising God. It is amazing. Not one of them's being quiet, not one of them's sitting down or like doing it. They're all singing, they're all clapping and dancing. It is loud in there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can hear the people up there leading because they're loud, but they're not overpowering everyone else. You can hear everyone, and it's just incredible to see that. There's so much over there that when you see and then you come back over here and you see what it's like over here, we're just so ridiculous compared to them. Like, we've got it so good and we take it all for granted, but they've got nothing, yet in a way they have everything more than us because they have their focus on the things above that really matter, and they're not distracted by lesser things that, they don't need to be happy and have that kind of joy. And it's just such a humbling thing to see, really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. One of the verses that got popped up a lot of times that when we were talking amongst the pastors especially, is it just gives you a completely new understanding of Revelation chapter 3 when it's talking about the Laodicean church. You think you're rich, but you're poor. That's us, folks. We think we're rich. Mm-mm. You want to see what rich looks like? Go over there. You'll see what rich looks like. And like I said, I can't explain it. You got to go see it. Then you'll know. Then you'll go, okay. So, I would say, man, pray about it. That's what you need to do. David Kimbrough is 75. Carol's 78. Something like that. Mm-hmm. And they went. So age isn't a deal. It's up to you, man. It will change your life, I promise you. You will never seen anything like that. I can pretty much guarantee that. And it will change your life for the better, because you'll just see things the way you should. Anything else you want to add, Peyton? I was really glad that Peyton got to go. Yes.
Tell everybody Alan's narcoleptic.
Huh?
You can tell everyone Alan is narcoleptic.
What is narcoleptic?
Well, he's not lazy. He falls asleep.
Oh, no, he wasn't lazy at all. He was a hard worker. It was just funny, because every time we saw him, he's like, we were laughing. We were all just laughing at him. Huh? Well, we weren't making fun of him. It was just funny. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Amy. But I just want you to know I didn't take the pictures. I just laughed at the pictures because we were sharing them, and every time we caught him sleeping, when everybody would share the picture.
Our